a Psalm 1 man. He didn't talk to you unless he had something to tell you, discipline you, or to tell you you were doing something wrong. But things started to change when she joined the church. And I noticed that my relationship with him, I started to build a relationship with him when I was around 18 or 19. And that's when a bond began between me and my father. Growing up, my dad, he worked a lot, so he would work graveyard. He would ride his bike to the gym after work, and then after the gym, he would come home, and then he would sleep. And I remember we did our best not to wake our dad, because anytime, you didn't want to wake our dad. We were scared of him, so anytime we would be arguing, me and Penina usually, all he had to do was yell our name once from the bedroom, and we would stop. But my dad was always a hard worker, the hardest working man I know. And even though he didn't talk to me a lot, I'm thankful that he was there. He provided for our family along with my mother, and we had everything that we needed. We didn't have everything that we wanted, but we had the necessities, and I'm thankful for that. When I started to become an adult, around 18 or 19, and I started to live my own life, I started to go through different trials and tribulations, and that's when I realized that I had a bond with my father, because he was there with me. He would cry with me. He would hug me, and then that was the first time he ever told me he loved me. I always question that because I'm different from him. But I came to realize that anytime I had problems or I was going through hardships in life, my dad, he was there for me. He would counsel me. I didn't always listen, but he counseled me, and he was affectionate. Because growing up, he didn't show any emotion. But that has to do with the gospel and him turning to the gospel, turning to Christ. So I've learned a lot from him, more so as an adult, by his example. My father is the type of man to teach you by his example, and along with my mother, they love to serve, and he loved his calling as bishop, and you can tell that he genuinely loved the people of the Oakland 8th Ward and the people, because after he was released as bishop, he continued to serve people, and he didn't stop. And so I've learned a lot of things from my father, but I probably am most thankful for the example he has set to me, to show me what a man of God is. I was younger, he taught me what a man was. You know, he was strong. Everyone knows my dad. He always was in the gym, always working out, and it was always a gym and work, gym and work. And to me, I thought that was what a man was. And any emotion shown, you know, that was weakness. But later on, I realized that he showed me that you can show love, you can show emotion, and you can still be a man. And I'm thankful for that. And I mean, I can go on, but I want to keep it short so everyone can talk. But I'm thankful for the man my dad became compared to when we were a child. I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I'm the fourth in line. My name is Syra Fafi. I had a lot of things to say about my father. Been thinking about it all week long and what I was gonna say. My dad was awesome to me. He was cool.
Go get some tissue.
Even when we were younger, he was mean. Now that I'm grown, I can see that. I don't think he was mean on purpose. He was just mean because he worked at night and had to sleep during the day. So he was making noise. Now that I'm an adult, I'm like, he wasn't doing anything wrong. Like, if that was me, I'd be yelling at my kids too. Like, be quiet, sit down, don't move. And he did work out a lot. He was this big buff man. Like, always thought he was like the toughest guy in the world. I think most of my cousins, a lot of my cousins thought he was pretty tough too. He got into a lot of fights growing up, and to me, when I was young, that was cool. Like, dad's a fighter. And then my cousins, I would have like certain cousins that would come to my dad's house, and like if they needed help, like my dad was there to help them. I always rode a bike growing up. I learned how to get around public transportation, get all over the world, the Bay Area, from my dad and my mom, from them not having a car until we got older. But he had a lot of bikes. I wanted to talk about his bikes because he went through lots and lots of bikes because people used to steal them. Like when he would leave his bike locked up at the barn on his way to work or wherever, like he'd come home and there would be a bike stolen, and he'd buy a different lock and his bike would get stolen. Then he'd buy this one lock, like the kryptonite lock. I don't know if you guys know what that is, but it was supposed to be a really good lock. And it was an expensive lock too, and the bike got stolen. And his last bike he got, I remember, because we still have it, and because it made my mom really mad when he brought it home, because I don't know how much it cost, but it must have cost a lot of money back in the day, because she was very upset with him. And I asked her not too long ago, Mom, how much did that bike cost, right? Because I know you were really mad when he bought it. And I believe she said it was like $1,500. I was like, oh yeah, now I know why you were mad. But he was cool. Even when I got in trouble, like sometimes we would have to come to my school and my friends would see him and they'd be like, who's that? Is that that your dad? I'd be like, yeah, that's my dad. And, oh, he's fine. Or some of them would be like, oh, he's gangster. And then from that man, he turned into this lovely man that he is now. He was a lovely man to me back then, but he's even a more lovelier man now. And that's from the church and my mom. Behind every good man is a great woman. And to me, I look at my parents, I look at them as Bonnie and Clyde that met Jesus. They were meant for each other, and they stuck through a lot with each other, and just them as parents that, like, I look at them as a perfect couple. And just being able to stick out life and everything and still love each other is so cool to me. I don't know why I'm crying. I haven't really cried since my dad passed. I'm not sad because he was in so much pain, and I hated watching him like that. And I know that he's in a better place now, and I know he's happy, definitely happy. I know that for a fact. So I'm not really sad. I know it doesn't even feel like my dad is gone to me. It's kind of like, I guess he went on vacation. I guess that's how I'm looking at it. Like he's just gone away on vacation, and I'll see him again. Because I know I will. So just want to tell everybody that's here, thank you for all your love and support and your prayers for my family and my father. I want to thank Heavenly Father also for blessing me with an awesome dad and blessing me with time and being able to just be with my dad during all this time and not have to really worry about anything else. I know that this church is true, and I know that Heavenly Father lives and Jesus Christ lives, and that I know that we will see my dad again. And I know that he's happy for sure. And I love all of you guys, and I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
I'm so grateful for this opportunity to talk about my dad. Growing up with my dad wasn't easy, but I have some good childhood memories. I remember my dad riding his bike, because my sister said he had a bike, but he would ride his bike to my elementary school, and he would pick up me and my sister Sapphire, and he put us on the bar and bring us home. And at the time, like, as much as mean as my dad was to me when I was younger, it's memories like those that I'll cherish. One of my aunties, my auntie Mama, she likes to clown on me because I don't speak Samoan. But growing up, my father, he didn't speak very much Samoan to us. There's a few phrases that I remember him saying to me, and it was Kapuni lo nuku, pama le polo maka. And then the other one that I didn't like at all was sour, papuka. Those are some of the things that's about as far as my Samoan goes. But my father, he was
he was a disciplinarian, him and my mother. I used to watch my older siblings, you know, they would see a lot of that discipline. And I want to thank my siblings because I'm a quick learner, you know, so I seen Sonny getting spanked all across the house, running around, and I knew that, you know, I feared my dad to the point that I wanted to be obedient and follow my parents. I don't know if my siblings will agree, but I think out of all of my siblings growing up, I think I was probably the easiest child, or the one that was the most obedient. But two of the attributes that I've taken with me from my father, the good and the bad, would be his temper. I have a really bad temper. And unfortunately, my nephew Mosiah, even though he hasn't seen that side of his grandpa, he's seen it through me. But the other part of my dad, that attribute that I feel like I received from him, is working out. My dad loved to work out, ride his bike, go to the gym, and those are things that I attribute to my dad, that I feel like he's instilled in me. One of the experiences that I've had with both of my parents, I think it was in 2014, is for my birthday, I wanted to do Mission Peak. It's a hike out in Fremont. It's like a 3-mile hike up and a 3-mile hike down. But it's a really kind of a tough hike. But my mom and my dad, they both signed on. They were willing to do it. And for me, that was one of the best birthday gifts that I've received from my parents. My mom, she struggled. It was really hard for her. But I got to see my dad help my mom. I got to be there to help my mom. And even though my dad was showing off at the beginning, he's like, come on, honey, this is easy. And he started going up, and I had to stick with my mom. But I was amazed at my dad. I was amazed at how well he was able to do it, because I think it was after he had a piece of his lung removed. But at the time, that was a time when I seen my dad help my mom. And on the way down, my dad was in front, my mom had her hand on his shoulders, and then they just, you know, so my dad was like the foundation, while my mom would hold on to him, and they would come down, you know, so that she wouldn't fall. So seeing my dad so strong, and knowing my dad to be one of the strongest men that I know physically, it was so hard to see him suffering with cancer. It was hard to see the man that was our Superman struggle to be Superman. But I want to thank all of my siblings. I wanted my siblings to come stand up here that wanted to speak, because it's hard. This is a hard time for us. But I love my siblings, and I want to thank each and every one of them. This whole process has been really, really hard. And I look at my siblings, and I'm just so amazed. My brother Alex, he took over the yard duties that my dad would do. He cleans the house. My sister Sapphira, she learned how to cook all of my dad's food. My sister Penina, she was there day in, day out, because she lived with my parents to help him. And my sister Nerissa, she was, we call her Mother Nurse. She was the one that helped care for my dad a lot towards the end. and my older brother Sonny, who's not able to be here today, but he called and checked in, FaceTime with my dad and checked me in on him. And when he did come and visit, my dad usually had a list of things that he wanted him to do as well. But I just want my siblings to know how much I love them. I want them to know that I know that our dad was really proud of us. And I know that, you know, ain't nobody gonna take care of like my dad other than us kids. Like you can't, like there's no, your kids take care of you. And as of right now, I don't have any kids. So I can only be 28, 29 for so long. So it's time for me to settle down and get some kids because I need some kids to take care of me when I get older. But now that my dad's gone, I think, you know, I think it was kind of a bad joke for him to leave because my mom's left all alone to raise her 6 kids and her 3 daughters, who are her biggest headaches.
I am not the headache.
But, you know, I love my father. Seeing the man that he became is very inspiring for me. I've fallen away from church, but this whole experience of my father being sick and not being a worthy priesthood holder to be there to give him a priesthood blessing has really inspired me to kind of get my act together for my family, for my mom. I know that this gospel is true. I'm so grateful to both of my parents. I know the man that my dad is, that he couldn't have done it without my mom. And I want my mom to know how much I love her. And recognize my mom as well, who's been so strong throughout all of this. For her, for us kids. But I know the priesthood is real. I know that temple blessings are real. And I hope, you know, I know that I will see my Father. And these things I say in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Maurice Masu, and I am the oldest daughter of Salman Mufafiu out of the 6 children. And I was thinking so many memories of my dad, but I just wanted to share that when I was little, like they said, my dad worked very hard and he would always ride his bike. He worked in San Francisco, so he would ride his bike to the BART station, and then he would take the BART to work, to his stop in San Francisco, and then he would ride his bike to work. And as a little girl, I always worried about my dad because he worked graveyard shift, and I just remember every time before I go to sleep, I would even worry so much that I would dream that somebody pushed him down on the BART track. I would wake up nervous and scared because I was so worried about him. I worried about my dad a lot, and I think so much it even got between my mother and I's relationship. My dad would always take my side, and then it would cause conflict between my mother and my father. I wasn't the most obedient daughter. My thing was boys, and so I gave my dad many headaches because there have been plenty of boys that have been to the house that he had to meet, and there were so many that he disapproved of. And even my first marriage, it was just a very bad situation. But my dad, one thing he does is he never holds back. Whatever he thinks, he says it. And I'm a very sensitive one. So he would always say things to me because he cared. But it would hurt me so much because he could hear. thing I'm grateful is, oh, first I just wanted to say all my friends thought my dad was fine too, just like Fire said. I used to play volleyball in junior high school, and I remember my dad rode his bike to come watch me play. And he walked in the door, and I was like, waving hi, and then some of the girls were like, who is that? And then I was like, that's my dad. They go, ooh, girl, he is fine. And I was like, oh, that is so gross. But I knew my dad was fine. I knew my dad was good looking. And I always used to watch other women because I was like, don't be looking at my dad, you know? Because I know he's married, he belongs to my mom, don't be checking him out. But I love my dad a lot, and I'm so grateful for all that he's taught me. And lately, I haven't been going to church that much. Part is because I've been taking care of my dad, but then part is because I've just been going through whatever I'm going through. And he would always come, him and my mom would show up at the house, and as soon as they knock on the door, I'm like, oh great, they're gonna come and Dad's gonna talk to me again about not going to church. And he always did. But I know he's all because I love you. Because I love you, Teresa, that's why I'm telling you these things. And I would be so hurt again. But I do see how much he loved me. He always counseled me to stay close to the Lord, to go to church, to be a good example to my son. I just want to say that I feel like when he accepted the gospel in his life, he was able to show us, his children, especially us girls, how a man should truly love and treat a woman. And we saw it through how he treated our mother. My dad and mom almost are never, ever apart. Whenever you see them together. Because he loves my mom. He loves our mom so much. And that kind of love that he showed our mom, I felt that kind of love, and it was how he treated us. And when I got married, the second time I got married, which when I got sealed in the temple, I married because I felt that same love from my husband. It felt like my father's love for me. And it still does. And I am truly, truly grateful. Like Farah said, he was an awesome father, and I found him to be a remarkably handsome man. And I thought he was just, I look at him when he changed his life, and I'm like, that is such a handsome man. Both inside and out. And he knows I love him very much. Real quick, like a week or two before he passed, there was a night when we all spent the night there, and Sapphire was sleeping next to him on his chair. And I woke up in the middle of the night and I looked, and he was breathing the exact same way he was breathing before he passed away. And I was like, Fire, what? And I ran and bent down, and I was like, Dad, and my mom was trying to wake him up. She's like, Hun, wake up. And he wouldn't wake up. And I went, and the father's like, you can come sit here. And I was crying so hard, and he still wouldn't wake up. But I was crying very silently. And all of a sudden, maybe in 5 minutes, he lifted his head and he turned around and he goes, Nerissa, why are you crying? It's gonna be okay. Don't cry. And I said, I love you so much, Dad. And he said, I love you too. And then he went right back to sleep. And then he lasted another week or two until he started breathing. And I felt so bad after that because we saw him suffer so much. But I too am grateful. I know without a doubt that he's in a better place. And I still feel his presence. I talk to him just like he's here. And I'm thankful for all of you who showed so much love and support for our father and our mother and our entire family. Your prayers, I know, have helped us. I thank you, and I'm so thankful for this gospel. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
If I could have the kids come forward, please.
My name is Mosiah. I'm the oldest grandchild of my grandpa and grandma. When I think of my grandpa, I think of nothing but hard work and service. Always doing the yard, planting the turtle leaves, putting up the Christmas lights when it's Christmas time all by himself. Me helping him a little bit, not really doing much, just watching him. Always doing service, him and my grandma, especially for people they didn't even really know. When I was young, I was always riding with my grandparents, me and my little cousin Arius, because they'd watch us while my parents were at work. So my grandpa wasn't really a grandpa to me, he was more like my dad. He taught me almost everything that I know. He taught me how to play football. He taught me how to ride a bike. He He taught me how to tie my tie. He taught me everything that I know. And I never really told him or never was really too verbal with him, but I wanted to be just like him, and I still want to be just like him when I get older. It's hard for me to know that he's not around no more, to know that he's not at the house. To know that he can't give me blessings no more. But I know he's still here. 'Cause I feel him all the time. I just want to apologize to my grandpa. At the end of last year, he was scolding me on coming to church, because I don't go to church like that no more. I haven't been to church in years, actually. But he told me, he was like, come for the last week of the year. He told me to come. And I promised him, I made a promise with him. I said, yeah, I'll be there. I promise I'll be there. And then the Saturday night came, it was a long night for me. I didn't go to church that morning. When I seen him at the house later, he was just giving me that look at me across the room. Why weren't you there? And he came and talked to me, and he was like, you make a promise, you keep a promise. You were supposed to be there. And man, I feel bad because that was the last time my grandpa ever went to church. And I didn't listen to him and go like he asked me to. I just want to thank him for raising me like I was his own son. I never listened either growing up. I was probably gave my grandparents a lot of hard times. But he always showed me love unconditionally. And he always was there for me. Seeing him like this, seeing him sick, it was so weird to me. Like, it was almost like I was dreaming every day. And I woke up and I would go over there and see him. Or when my grandparents was living with us for a little bit, it was just so weird seeing him was hooked up to oxygen and everything like that. Because all I know was my grandpa was healthy. He was strong. He was always active, always doing something, always working. I just wanted to let my grandma know I love you so much. And I know that was your best friend. But we still here for you. Just want to let everybody know that I love them and thank you all for coming. And I say this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Hi, my name is Aries. I'm the oldest granddaughter, and I originally wasn't planning on saying anything, but I knew Papa would be proud if I did. Like Uncle Rocky said that he was a disciplinary, but I never saw that. Being a grandchild, I only saw his soft side, He was the house, like they were the house that everyone could come to. And it really inspires me because that's the house I want to build, my family. I want it to be open for anyone to come to, And I think even though I saw the soft side, he was still the hardest working man I've ever known. And I see that in my dad as well. When even though he was sick, he would still get up and work out, just to show that he was still strong. And I just want to say thank you for coming. Thank you for listening to me. I really love my grandpa.
Hi, my name is Sasha. I'm the third oldest grandchild. My papa was my father figure in my life. He never stopped believing in me, even when I did do something wrong. He taught me how to count money, from my grandma slapping me. He did take my side a lot. I know that he does love me, and after my grandpa passed, the next day I had a basketball game, and we got smashed. Like, we lost by like 26 points. And like, I was so mad. I was like ready to punch all my team. And then I was like, my papa didn't teach me how to, like, if something goes wrong, my papa didn't teach me to hurt people. He tell me to like, just keep going and like teach me, don't slap them. I was more hurt at the fact because we lost and I played for my grandpa. And I miss my grandpa a lot, but I know that I'm still gonna see him, and I know that I will see him, and that my family will see him. And I say these things in Jesus Christ, amen.
I'd like to thank the kids for their musical number and the grandkids for their remarks. At this time, I'd like to open it up to family and friends. If you would like to share any experiences or a musical number, we welcome you to come up. We will be going until about 11:25. The time is yours. I'd like to first extend the invite to my dad's sisters. If they would like to come up, to please step forward first. Thank you.
I think the sisters need some time to gather their thoughts, so I'll jump in right now. When you have such a strong man like this, everybody's gonna rush them, so you gotta take advantage of the opportunity to get in there first. For those of you who don't know me, my name is James Misa. I had the wonderful privilege of being Bishop Fafiu's executive secretary for about 3 years. Those happen to be some of the most amazing years of my life in the gospel. I was privileged to be able to experience this version of Salman Fafiu, and my experiences there were just unbelievable. We had counselors, my cousin Ken Kwaya and also Maps Manabao were the counselors during that time, and I'll tell you that we had some great memories. And he is such a jokester. He would have this infectious laugh. Have you ever seen someone who would tell jokes and right at the punchline you just bust out laughing, and his laugh is so infectious that everybody's laughing. The joke doesn't even have to be funny, but the laugh is so funny that everybody's busting up. And he was that type of man. He was always so full of life and funny, and we had some great experiences. But I can remember Ken Kwaya and Bishop Fafiu, they had a few encounters during our time in the bishopric, because they were like the yin and the yang. Because Brother Kwaya was more stronger on the letter of the law, where Bishop Fafiu was more about the spirit of the law. And I can tell you that I learned so much about the pure love of Christ through this man. His charity was written all over him. And I didn't know Salmonga 1.0. I only knew Salmonga 2.0. But I heard a lot of stories about 1.0. A lot of them he told. But the 2.0, what a man that was. And he taught me so much about charity and about love and about the pure love of Christ. And I can tell you that some of us might look at it and wonder, You know, how is it that he had this long, hard life, and as soon as he, you know, became this great man, why does he have to be taken? But I can tell you that I know that the Lord said, son, you've done well. You've passed all my tests. Now I need you here. And he's done well. And he served so many people, and so many were affected positively by this man. And I'm so grateful for him. And I say these things humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
God is good
All the time.
all the time.
God is good.
Amen. Yeah. For the sake of the non-speaking Samoan, and some of you, most of you are speaking English. But my testimony this morning, I always, when things happen like this, I always speak in my own language. Don't mind what I'm saying tonight, my own language, because that's I grew up with. I grew up with the Samoan language, I have to use it. Because over here, America, when you come over here, you lost your language, but it's too bad. Turande sa ifayatu sina utala na titi isi tuangane lea wawa ue tolo tuangane to valu to iwa uso olua maniliu a to tasilena so ifo mai le wa mir ngalo le tua mai fo e ole maftanga a ngalo tuangane lea ele I leva se mama tanga langa no South Day a lai ya ya so ma fitau ya idei na wa tau mai nei ya ale kemi a kwai na ola ifo mo uso ya laiti ma kemi nga sa wai na ye ma ko fakasi ya yang kan mo aku fangau o samaua o ias karakai e alofa fai makua kausi makua e alofa i o maainga i o makuangang i o mauso ai mese o kofawhingi ma o sa i kenia aua a makaunga mainga ia nga kalamo mai a makowe whapea o ia wa mai ka wai langa o le mai e le iluan kangaka kenie e umairo nga ole ko inga mai whapea ia e peka iange wa kalango mai maua whamalusi mai a mako ia e pawara o kalang whese ko ngake aua kilo ko mai mai whakokua i lea lea ia se fo mai o le langi ngei nga ke whai o a ki ngei mai o kino ngā fo mai lei luna o ia o le fo mai o fo mai e ele manga o le kua sosoangi a ki oi kausanga i soifu ai ai peka iangi ia o le oranga o kako le oranga e kaupure e sea o kako wona awai e ke soifua mai ira langa wa uma o ngā sila fia le kua e le kua le kunga o waso a o mai ari kemi o le aso kangaka ia o sila fia le kua le abea ia e mara awale a kua e kume uma ia ai sau le lau e ese o kua ange lea ia o le ale mafukanga wha le uso wha kua ngange ia e le whaia lana se loko awai kune le kua e le uso fua matu o kako ona ma o ke mi uma lava o ke maaku lava e malmau o ke fia ai e se kalo wa o ia lea e halo whakawang kang kalo ma o ia ai kang kalo a kua o koro mai na ia
o ye sa o kalo nga fa mai I ia na ko la o fi ai kalo la gale bo kalo velo ke o foi ia fa mai ia fa fera nga ba ko ka ia fa o ale ko nga do ke go foi fe fi ko nga ke la ko mai fa mai ko ma ma le me la sa wai ia ko ai ka nga se le la ba ko ke ko ba yo o se ko wala ko fa fi e ba ko kalo mero ke alo kai so ko nga e fai la mai ia me manga o yo ko fa o la me manga e fi ai ai e fai mai ia e alo ko ai ba ia e vele no ai ia o ua mala o fa mala au le ko ia ke ia e avea ma pise po le loku le oi Maria ia vele ale Maria ia alo mai e ia le ke me kana mo mai so ko ke o loku mamonga ai mai sis sau le loku mongi le e ke sau ke ka ke loku na kuai oi a ua li ua lo molanga ya olina o malo o molina ya fai ai oi nga o a leo kan ko mula ba o melo ke lo kuai e kasi ale ko le ka kuai mai ka ko le fa pe ka kuai oi le kuai ka kuai o la o fa a fa pe no so kuai le na se na kuya he's going to send what you call your prophet. I'm going to send the missionary to your house. For what? They come talk to you about the Lord. And I say, I already know the Lord. I know the Lord. Every day I pray in my mouth. And I was teaching my brother and I say, yeah, Fakalila yo kanga ngai o mai yo mai le kakala ye no me so kwai ja awo ti fa pinga awo ko pa kadia fa le fa kwa no kana na fa kia o ya awo yo ke no fa kia ki o pudala mari me o kale o pa kala mo ya ki kala de ya le fa pela kala mo yo mo sa wele ni no kuma ya ya ki le ai kan ko man ka kai no ya ka po ima ya ke ninguém ya e kawa ususa upese wa rangai fala o que é que o que vão ali é fiaf e caia aqui vai lá para o show vai o suca copese agora como vai Gracias.
I believe I'm the first Afakasi in the family. I just wanted to come pay my respects to my cousins, my auntie. I'm 51 years old. I don't remember when I met my Uncle Saw, but I do remember that all I knew is that, and all that I remember is that they lived with my grandmother, and I remember the children being born, and I remember the big afro. Right? He had a big afro, and he was yoked. Right? And I went to my mission in life. I've watched my cousins go to different countries and missions, and so God seen my mission to go to different institutions and prisons. By the grace of God, I actually do service for parole, the parole department, and so God, He doesn't throw nothing away. And I've learned today a lot of things that I heard, but I just want to let the children know from my perception many, many years ago that I had always thought Uncle Saul was a bishop. You know, I didn't know, even at 13, 14, because, you know, like I said, I lived, you know, the garage was my room, and mandatory prayer every night, and, you know, I was doing other things, so I had to be there and turn off the light, and Uncle Saul did the prayer in Salmon, and I just tried to piece things together. But he can make a prayer. I mean, this thing went on for like 2 hours. I would actually sneak out, go meet my friends, drink a bottle, come back in. He was still saying the prayer. I talk to God every day. To tell you the truth, probably all through the day. And I've been praying very much for him. And the truth about it is I didn't want to see him. I seen him at the last, you know, our family's been going through a lot of grief, but in the end, because of their belief, it turns into happiness. We know that they're in a better place. And I seen him because, like I said, I just remember him yoked. The only time I remember him getting in trouble with my aunt is when he hung around her brother, Sam, which is my dad. And, that was never a good thing for him. But he had talks with me, and I just thought it because he had that accent. Hey, you know, you want to slap? You know, when you gonna stop getting in trouble? You know, he had that accent, and he would always tell me the right thing. But one thing I always seen him do is take care of his family. He worked hard. He took care of his wife. He cared about his family, and I learned that from me. And he always talked about, see, I didn't know, and like I said, I thought he was a bishop all my life. I didn't, you know, I just learned that it was later in years, but that was just my perception. And he taught me a piece about God. And so I just wanted to pay my respects and say something to him. I'm gonna miss you, Uncle Saul. You know, and thank you for the memories and the time that I had when I was young, and now I'm getting old in my 50s. Thank you.
Ai o te rei solinga e marae o Rufirufinga. Mai mau tara solinga ula le opa ia o le atua. Mono patulunga le lani. Le lani matalamu. Iora tu tele mai tu tau lani. I Paulo mangaka sili lani. Tulo. Wao le tae ao. Ora ia malaya para sau ma para sili. Primero suena o pão o marco ele ia te o lua avama lima malua toto o supo le o puia malai na sata le langi e foi malai o tau. Mea lo sua e sa. Sua e toe li. Pio e tapu. Sua e laro a mari o toa. Pio e laro li. Sua e o lua ta mu mai ma. Matai sari ali. Maru lama lea ia toa e la una sai sari lua. O langi ia wha singo le sunga lia kopo maro lo ia sama una wha. Tai tonu lea hanga nei tai au o ia le pao i whakalele. Ako komo ta apel pai na seo. O hea ma koe ato si. Wawo whai le langi. E tuli ngā singa o lea sa pele i whare tui a o lita mo whanau. Wha lea haina. Much of what we heard this morning is relative to a relationship, somehow with you, father, brother, and uncle. But I'd like to stand and testify to you about somehow my mentor. I too have the privilege of serving as his executive. And from then, I would serve as his counselor. And as he was my bishop, not knowing that one day I would be his bishop, we had many conversations. I too knew Sama'anga 1.0, but I love how he turned into Sama'anga 8.0. A man that has truly evolved and transformed. What I can say of Sama'anga is this: in the scripture we find the phrase, love unfeigned. That's Sama'anga Fafiu. It is love without hypocrisy. Granted that in many conversations, even at the pulpit, he admitted that at first, he said, I didn't love none of you. I didn't love anybody. But upon his release, he would testify that God would teach him the importance of love and compassion. We had many conversations that I was privileged to have with him in the office. And he would always say, when you convert to the church, you let your past be exactly that, your past. I'd like to say to the Fafiu family, I believe that during the time that Saul was at the 1.0 level, there came a point in his life where he stood at the crossroads and took a look at what was in front of him. And he saw that the path on the left was a lot easier than the hard one to travel on the right. And he took the right path. From the ponytail and earring, I would see him later to a clean-shaven man of God who presided over our Lord. And I had the privilege to know that he was my predecessor. Life has not ended for Saul. It's only changed. We know where he's at. I know where he's at. I'm happy that God had blessed me with the opportunity, the privilege and blessing to know that three of us who had the privilege of serving as his counselors, myself, Brother Ken Kwaya, and Brother Mapsana Tumanba, would be called by God to serve as bishops in different parts of his vineyard. That says a lot about this man. If I'm a more than I'm a player, if I'm a simple ahorita, then no play out on my now. I may see what you are on. One of your lover, or the fire, or the arm, or Yahshua name. Yes, I so testify in the sacred name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Talofa. My name is Lorena, so I'm Auntie Alita's sister's daughter. And I didn't think I was gonna cry, but I'm one of Uncle's nieces. I know that there was a huge debate recently before Uncle passed of who's the favorite niece. I won't claim to be number one, but I know I'm in the top three. I just know it. Last year, my family and I moved to American Samoa. And before moving, I talked to Uncle a lot. And he would tell me all his stories, all his funny stories, all his scary stories. And And he would make me a little excited to go to Samoa, and he would always say, make sure you let the kids play in the mud, okay? Just let them run in the village. I said, okay, Uncle. And just a couple of months ago, I would FaceTime sometimes from Samoa, and it was in December. I was FaceTiming Uncle, and he was telling me his jokes, asking about the kids, and I was telling him about just things that go on in Samoa. And I said, Uncle, how are things? How are you? He said, you know, some days I feel good, and some days I feel sick. Some days I feel like the cancer might just go away, but I never lost my faith in the Lord. He said, my Heavenly Father is the real doctor, and He and my Savior Jesus Christ are the only one who knows. And I'm okay with that. I'm so grateful for his testimony. He makes me want to be better. His example for me. He was a great father figure for me, and like a second dad to me, and would always give me blessings when I needed. He was always at the very important events in my life, and I'm so grateful for his example. And I know that he loved our Savior, and I know that he knew that through temples our families can be together forever. And I know that because of him, I will strive and be the best person I can be, so that, and to keep my covenant, so I can see him again. I know that my Savior loves all of us, and I thank you all for being here, and I just want to let my family know I love you so much, and I pray for your comfort, and I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Brothers and sisters, Talofa. I'm very grateful for the opportunity that I have to be here today. So that's my sister. I was just nice to you. And we grew up really, really close to my auntie Lita and my uncle Sam. We consider the Fafiu kids and the Maile kids because even though my mom has a lot of siblings, we grew up really, really close with the Fafius and the Mailes. Like we didn't have friends growing up. Like our cousins were like our friends and our siblings. And Uncle Sam, like, just like my dad, it's really hard for me to talk. Sorry, y'all. My dad, he's not a member of the church, which is fine. My dad has always done his thing. I've always loved my dad for what he does, whatever. But because I am a member of the church, I would look to my Uncle Saw as my spiritual dad. And I relied on him a lot. And because like my dad, like 1 year he'd be Catholic, then the next year he'd be like, oh no, I'm atheist, and then the next year he'd be like, oh, I'm Scientologist, whatever. I'm like, whatever, Pop, you know, I love you, whatever, do your thing. So I relied on my uncle a lot. And we were always at his house. Always. Like every day. I felt like almost my entire life. And I had my dad, but I always looked at Uncle Saw as my spiritual dad, the one that I could go to for blessings, for guidance, for counsel. And there would even be times where I wanted to talk to him by himself, but about things that I was going through. But I know I can if I go to the house because my auntie is right there. She's always right there. And I know that she would probably go tell my mom what I was going through. Because she's so loyal to my mom, her sister, which is rightfully so. So when my uncle became my bishop, and I can go to him in the bishop office for guidance and counsel, I felt like I was really receiving counsel from like my dad, like a father figure. When my husband and I were getting married, my uncle was my bishop. And he's the one who guided me through things to prepare for the sealing and things like that. Which I'm so grateful Uncle was there to be my spiritual dad. When my husband had started showing interest in like getting serious while we were dating, in my mind it was really important for him to meet my dad. All my family, but really my uncle saw it too. His approval for some reason to me, even growing up, like when I would get in trouble, when things were going on and he would be upset at me, I would feel more disappointed in myself. When it was time for me to get married, I told my husband, my auntie Mama just passed away, and I told my husband, I think we were already engaged. I don't know, but we didn't tell my family yet. But I told them it's really important for you to come and meet my uncle. And my auntie Mo had passed away, and it was the evening after her burial. And I said, I know my aunt just passed away. It might feel a little weird, but this is the time where both my dad and my uncle and my aunties, all my mom's sisters are gonna be here. And that's a good time for you to meet them, because I wanted to see all my aunties and my uncles' approval along with my parents. Because that's how important my uncle is to me. I'm so grateful that he was willing to step in and give us blessings or do whatever we needed to. He needed to help us, all the guidance and the counsel. And the way that one of the memories that I have is when I found out he was like, I always knew he was a Raider fan, right? But when I found out that he was like a ride or die, we were watching the game in the living room, and they were playing the Tennessee Titans. And at that time, I just had moved back, or I was visiting from Tennessee. So the Raiders were losing, and I was talking so much smack to him and at first he was like, ha 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 ha, we were going back and forth. And then he turned to me when the Raiders, there was an interception, I don't even know what happened. But he turned to me with the most serious look, and he said, you better shut your mouth. I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think I was gonna die like this today. No, but that's how I knew my uncle was like a ride or die Raider fan. And I love him. I love that I can come and joke with him. I love that their home was always open. Auntie, thank you for always opening your home to us. I want to tell my cousins how much I love them so much. Their example on how they take care of their parents, it put me in check on how I need to take care of my parents. They drop everything for their parents. And I'm grateful for their example. I want to just tell you guys that I love you. I love the gospel. I love that I was able to be atonement to my uncle in his earlier years, and how he turns to the Lord, and even closer in his later years. I'm so grateful for his testimony and how he always shared it with me. It made me stronger as a person in the gospel. And I just say in the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
This is Rocky. Rocky wanted to say something. Title for everybody. My name is Bill. I'm Woody's husband. I wasn't planning on coming up, but she kind of forced me to come up here. Just like in a husband to his wife, I listened to my wife and to come up here to be by her side at this hard time. And that's kind of
example I saw with Uncle Sa. I never knew Uncle Sa 1.0. I only knew Uncle Sa 2.0. And I'm grateful to know of Uncle Sa as the bishop, because he was a very kind person when I first came into this family. And he was a very good example to me. He taught me a lot of things as a young couple with my wife, over 10 years now. And so I've known him only as a good and kind-hearted man, and I'm grateful for that example that he had to me and for my family, especially for my wife, because I can see how much he was, like how much he meant to her as an example of a priesthood holder. I'm grateful for that example of that he had, and the impact that he had in her life, especially with Auntie Olita as well, and their examples. And just want to express to the Fafiu family that I love you all. I can kind of understand how it is to have a father pass. My dad passed away when I was only 5. But to this day, throughout the many years, I learned a lot of things, and it does take a lot of time to heal. But at the same time, you want to remember the legacy and remember the great things and the examples that a parent had set for you to apply in your life. And I know that he is in a better place, and I know through the gospel that he's probably in his prime. He's back in his buff body again. And he's probably just excited to reunite with the family members on the other side of the veil. And I'm just grateful to be here and show my love to you all, and my condolences. I say this in the name of Jesus Christ.
Brothers and sisters, time of I don't want to take up too much time, but my sister wanted to get up, and I didn't want her to come up here by herself. She's really shy. But as I sat there and I listened to a lot of the memories that were shared, when we were growing up, we were a part of this group. It was always my sister and I, and the Mailen children, the Fafiu children, and also the Rios girls. We spent almost all of our childhood years together. I can remember the first time I met Mr. Fafiu. He was very quiet, and I was very intimidated by him. He had been baptized in the church, and what I remember most about him was his huge arms and his handlebar mustache. And he was the only one that could rock that. When he continued to come around the church, and when he eventually became baptized, he was the only man that reminded me of my father. They were very close. He was very quiet. He loved to joke around. They're both from Vaitomi. They would always tell stories about Vaitomi, growing up in Vaitomi. And they would compare stories. They would talk about the Lavme and all the different things. And they became very close. Mr. Fafiu was a very humble man. He made the best short ribs I've ever tasted in my life. He knew how to barbecue. When he became ill, I too wasn't used to seeing him like that, because he was always such a strong example to us. And even when I knew he was very weak, he would always continue to ask the same questions he would ask when he was strong. How's the family? How's Daman Saka? Give them my love. Sometimes I knew he struggled just to say those words, but he still made sure that he asked before I went home from church. One time he pulled me in his office. He said, "Chris, can I talk to you?" And I thought, man, I don't want to call him. And I went into his office, and I didn't get a calling. He just wanted to see how I was doing, how work was, how my life was going, if I needed anything. And I told him, everything is fine. And he said, "Are you struggling with anything that you need me to help you with? Do you need me to pray for you? so that you can get through a certain struggle. And I said, no, I'm okay. And before I walked out of the office, he gave me the very best advice. He told me, you know what, Chris? All you need to do, and all we can do here, is try our best. Just be the best you that you can be. Try your best. Don't worry about anything. Just always try your best in life. Heavenly Father will see your good works, and you will be blessed for being the very best you that you can be. I will never forget that advice given. It was a very simple piece of advice, and a very strong, useful piece of advice. I love this man very much. He's been somebody that we can all look up to. Even in his last days, we went to visit him a couple weeks before he passed away. And for those of you that know my mom, she loves to talk. So our family walked in, we sat down, and then Jolita and her sat there and talked. But we were really there to visit him, and I whispered in his ear, I said, Bishop, you can go to sleep. You don't even have to be here for this conversation. Nobody's talking to you. And like always, he just giggled and just laughed. But even that day, I knew his spirit was weak. But he still was strong for us as visitors. He still made sure that we were okay and taken care of. I love him very much. Sister Fafiu, I love you very much also. Thank you for always remembering my birthday. I love you, and I love everyone here. This is my testimony, I say, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen.
I feel like it has to be said on behalf of Uncle Saw, just in case you didn't know, everybody looks good in silver and black. Just put that out there. I felt like I had to get up here just to talk a little bit about my childhood too, but like my brother said, growing up, you know, there was a small group of us that were always together, and I've been a chubby girl my whole life, so I knew where to get the free food at. Like Rocky, I'm a quick learner, right? So I knew at my house, we had the frozen burritos and corn dogs would warm up. I knew if we went to Amherst, I knew maybe I could get Losa to make some lumpias. Maybe Blossom was the only one working. Maybe Blossom might treat us out. Right? I could get some Mexican food at Auntie Hoffa's house. And I knew that the Samoan food was at Rocky's house. But Uncle Saul was the last person that I ever met in this part of our family. And so I remember one day going home and asking my mom, who is this Uncle Saul? Like, I keep hearing about him. And she would always tell me, Uncle Saul's the one that works with Grandma Susana at the hospital across the bay. Right, and so I knew that. And I remember also that when we were at Rocky's house, sometimes I would see somebody on a bike, but I didn't know who it was, right? I just thought it was a crazy guy and he was on a bike all the time, right? And then one day we finally caught Uncle Saul at the house and I was like, that's your dad? And Rocky was like, yeah, that's my dad. And I went home that day and I was like, you know the crazy guy on the bike? That's Rocky's dad. But you know, there's so many things that I can say about him, but I was able to see every point of Uncle Saw, and I loved every bit of it. From a child learning not to lie to my parents because I didn't want my hair to get chopped like Nerissa. I'm sorry, Nerissa, but it's a memory. You know, to him being a part of when I got sealed to my husband in the temple. And one of the fondest memories I have of Uncle Saul was when he was a member of the bishopric, or when he was the bishop. You know, you couldn't serve under Uncle Saul and not give your best because you saw how much and how full of love and how hard it is to find someone who genuinely loves people with his whole heart. And when you served under him when he was the bishop, you couldn't give less than your best because he wouldn't accept it. And at one point, he had felt some kind of spirit and called me to be the Young Women's president and my husband to be the Elders Quorum president. And we both had jobs that took us away a lot.
And these two callings are callings that take us away a lot too, and we rarely saw each other. And at one point, it was a couple years in, and he called us into his office, and I don't know if you remember, Auntie Olita, but he actually told us that he spoke to you about this, and he called us in, and he said, I just wanted to call you guys in and, you know, and see how you guys are doing. And I remember after he had given us his counsel, he was in tears, and both my husband and I were in tears. And, you know, we told him at that point we were struggling because we rarely saw each other. We were always doing something about our calling or at work. And he actually got some counsel from his lovely wife to help us in that situation. So through the good times and through the bad times, he was a part of our lives. And I just wanted to tell you how much I love Uncle Sa and how much I love Auntie Olita. And not only for always remembering our birthdays, but always making us feel like we were one of your own. And my cousins, I want you guys to know that I love you guys so much. And I appreciate you guys so much for sharing your father with us. And like my brother said, he reminds me so much of my dad. My heart broke when I found out that he passed. I also want you to know that our dad loves you too, and he's on loan for you guys if you ever need help. I love you all very much, and I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
For the sake of the time, I'm just going to share my testimony. Can I ask, if I can humbly ask the Relief Society sisters of this ward and anyone who served here in this ward is no longer, can you make your way up here? I really want us to pay tribute to Bishop Fafiu. One of the things that I really love about this amazing man is the love that he has for the sisters. Doesn't matter if you're a mother, sisters from 18 up, and even the primary age of the young women. He always have a celebration for Mother's Day for sisters 18 and up. And he went out of his way to show that genuine love for the sisters. I also remember that, you know, he found joy in serving others unselfishly. And there was a time I know that a sister told me that he gave up his van for many weeks so that this family could come to church because they weren't able to come. There's so many of them. And who would give up their car, their one car, for a family? So Bishop Fafiu, when we left the ward to go serve in a different place, we were so heartbroken because my husband has a really, really tight relationship with Bishop Fafiu. So every time I would see Olita and Bishop Fafiu, I get emotional. And I'm grateful that now that my husband's a bishop, every time we see them, they give us counsel on things that we need to know. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for him being equal to a father to me. So I love Bishop Fafiu, and I'm grateful for all that you have done for us. The example of being Christ-like, being a disciple of Jesus who walked the talk and not just talk, and stand for what you believe in and your testimony of the Savior. I don't see any sisters in the Relief Society coming up here, but I don't want to take all the time. But I know Bishop Fafiu loves to say this: as I have loved you, love one another. And instead of us having him say this to us, we want to sing this to you so you know how much he loved all of God's children and how much he has followed the Savior. And I say these things humbly. I love you, Olita, and I love all your kids. May the Lord bless you. And I say these things in Jesus Christ's name. Amen.
This new commandment just gonna take the moment. I wanted to very quickly express my love and my gratitude to Bishop Bafu for all of the advice. Express my love to Obita for being a wonderful example of what a wife is. I've seen her be by Bishop Bafu's side through thick and thin. And I just want to tell you, Olita, that I love you. I know that you are an example to me and to the rest of the sisters and this award. Funny thing, I'm going to say this very quickly, that I shared with Bishop Bafu is, he used to tell me, Lena, how are you? I'd say, fine. And then he'd say, how's your life? I'd say, my life is good. I have a well-balanced life, Bishop. And he would say, oh really, what do you mean by that? I say, this year I'm a good Mormon, next year I'm a bad Mormon. I say, Lena, don't say that. So I just wanted to tell him that he would say, hold fast to the iron rod. I said, yes, I am. But I just wanted to let your family know that I love you guys, and I say these things in Jesus Christ's name, amen.
I'm sorry, due to the time restraints, these will be the final people that will be speaking, and we will have to close afterwards. Thank you.
There's so many people here, brothers and sisters, talofa. I kept sitting down there, but I know my aunt had wanted me to school to share a special dream that I had with you all. First, there's so many things to say about Uncle. I'm gonna try to talk fast so that we can get through everything. But there's so many things to share about Uncle. The only thing I can share about his 1.0 is, like they said, we would always be at their house. Me, Penny, and Alex, Von, and be jumping all over the couch, during the day. And then all of a sudden you hear, hey! And then we just drop. And then we would like, turn on the TV. But that same 1.0 at nighttime when he went to work, he would kiss each one of his kids every single time he went to work. And I remember being young and thinking, you're supposed to go kiss Uncle. Oh no. So I just kind of sat there, but every single time Uncle would come and kiss me too. There's such a special relationship we have with our uncle. I think every one of his nieces and nephews, we all have a unique relationship. I don't know if I was the favorite. Everybody at the house, they all talk about who's the favorite. I don't care if I wasn't the favorite because he always treated. Okay, Anna Lydia still, yeah, but you can be the favorite today. Because he always treated me as if I was one of his favorites. He always treated my kids as if they were some of his favorites. And all of the kids that came through that, to Auntie Olita's house, Auntie Olita too. I'm thankful for their example, especially their kids. My dad passed away almost 14 years ago. We would be by my dad's side all the time, and sometimes we would get tired. I would. My sister Nita had to go back to school. And sometimes their kids would come and stay at the house with my dad so that I could go out. I don't think we ever really told them how much we appreciate them for that. I don't cry here because I'm sad for Uncle, for missing Uncle. I cry because of the love that he has, his children and his family. And when I watch them care for their dad and for their mom and check on their mom and she's eating. And my Aunt Olita, all you ever hear is, honey, open your mouth. Honey, take your medicine. Honey, are you awake? You never hear her say, Sa. She's so sweet to me. But I just want to tell all my cousins and my aunts that I love you guys so much. I thank you for the example, Christ-like example that each one of you has set for us. And their children's children too. All of them. The day before Uncle had passed away, it was a Monday night, I had a dream. I never dreamed about my dad. I have prayed so many times, like seriously, the 14 years, I have prayed the dream that my dad would come to me in the dream. Like all these people that, you always hear. never once has my dad come to me in a dream. But in this dream, I was a big white room. Or it was just like everything was white, the ceiling was white. And I saw my dad to the right side. And my dad, he was in all white too, but he didn't have any shoes on. But my dad, he wasn't in the body that he left this earth in. I'm the youngest of the 5 kids in my mom's family, and there's a picture of my sister Blossom on her baptism day with my dad. That's how my dad looked. And his arms were folded. And when I looked at him, he was like he was waiting for something. Then all of a sudden, it was like I looked to the left, and it was like far away, but I seen Uncle Saab. And I seen him in his frail body that we had been seeing these last few weeks. And when I seen him, there's this green oxygen tank. I don't think he used that one that much, but in their house, and he had it, and it was like just in his hands. And when I looked at him, my dad, he got so excited. He started waving his hands. My dad laughed a lot. He was laughing. He was like, Sa, and Uncle Sa's like far away. He's like, Sa, come on. And he's waving. He's saying, come on, Sa, let's go. I've been waiting for you. And Uncle Sa, he looked at him and he smiled. And he put his head down. And my dad's like, Sa, come on. And then all of a sudden, Uncle turned around and he started walking away. And my dad, he was yelling more. He's saying, Sa, come on. I've been waiting for you. Then Uncle Sa turned around, and in his frail body, he's pushing his oxygen tank with his head down, sad. And he's pushing it towards my dad. Once he finally gets to my dad, he looks up, and his face lights up. And they hug and they embrace. And it was so weird in the dream, because I could feel it. Like, I could feel the love. And when I woke up, it was so weird. It was like so much love that I could feel, that I could see in their faces as they embraced. But when I woke up, I knew. I was like, dude, this is what it's like. I think my dad is there waiting for him. And I knew, honestly, I knew it was going to be that day that, Uncle would be walking towards my dad. I'm so grateful for the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm grateful for my uncle who's taught me about the gospel of Jesus Christ, who's taught my kids about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Every important milestone in my kid's life, he was there. One of the most important to me was when my oldest kid was baptized. And I yearned for my dad to be there, to confirm her as a member of the church. When my uncle came and stood in place and did that, I'm forever grateful for my Auntie Alita and Uncle Sa, for their children, for always loving us and treating us just like the same as everyone else. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Talofa. My name is Saidi Manuia Tafu. I'm not related to Bishop Fafiu, but I'm related to him through the gospel of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. There's a lot of things to share about this awesome person. What a wonderful example he is. 2 things that I know that we have in common. We love the Raiders, and we're lefties. And he's a left hand. So I remember when he first called me in his office, I said, oh my gosh, well, I don't remember my fight. I walked in there, I said, Bishop, please. And he just kept laughing and laughing. Well, I'm going to be Sister Tafu. I will let you to Vale Lotu. But I do. Yala Avatula Loya to oil bit in the fight to what we are to oil. A very oil matai tai. First day or our lofa. Ya offer to your bishop. I know I am a Va'amikamaka. I don't think I'm worthy to lead the Relief Society. You know what he told me? Sister Tafu, remember this is the Lord's work, not man's work. So I told the bishop, okay, give me a week, let me go think. Okay, Lord, I've never held any title in the Relief Society. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a big thing. It's going to be a big thing to me. So I went home. I remember what he said. Remember, this is the Lord's work. So I went home. I went back to Bishop and I said, hey Bishop, I'm ready. I'm ready to serve Heavenly Father. My husband couldn't be here, but I came to represent both of us. He really wanted to come, but he was called to work overtime. Bishop really loved his family. Bishop really loved his wife. I am so grateful to have met such a beautiful heart. Bishop Fafiu and his wife Olita, his whole family. When I became a member, he was our home teacher. Every time we were to a bishop, and what we know na lufa. If I do what you know to what termina ele avelo to lua ma tangata le kalesia. E lua foi me to say le people ye bishop ma lo to lua. Ile 1.0 le fai mai ele tasi le tau le ele ngai luma. 1.0 na ule inu ma tpa. Le fai na tu lo ba ina. Au te fa fetai. Ina ua vea me pikopo. Au te mana tua le maliu la malila. My brother Phil, I think he knows Fafiu way back. He looked at me and he said, "Hey, is that Fafiu? Yeah. Why? Is he a bishop? Yeah. Why? Oh my gosh. So I turned to my brother and look what the Lord has done for him. Change him completely. What a good example. And I told my brother, you too can change. It's never too late. So I'm grateful to have met this man because of his service with his wife. He's always asking me, how's your kids? How's Phil, especially Phil? A week ago before he passed away, and I told Phil, this is the time you go see Bishop. If you don't want to go to church, come with me, go see Bishop and visit him. It might be his last time. So we went there and Phil sat down, had a good talk with Bishop Phil, what I was talking to his children. And he asked Phil, did you come to the Christmas party? And Phil said, and he told Phil, oh yeah, you must have went to the wrong party. That's why you didn't come, huh? Five was a Bishop Phil, a joke. You know what Lucia said? If you don't know what he's talking about, well, too bad. It's never too late to change. I'm so grateful for this gospel, for the truthfulness of this gospel has really changed me too. Little by little, will I go. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Talofa. Sira wani mabubu ya winua o mantina Strickland Bay. Se mafta fo ikalana mo peo na sila ni na mafta yo no ni no matina ye o se tuna fo ile fasta tina ya olita tu sa na tausina malfana I'd like to share a short, I'm going to make it really short. Just recently, before he passed, his very last Sunday, with Bishop Fafiu and Brother Tuitamuki, they always say, oh, Sister Ve'e doesn't know how to cook. You know, this is their big joke at the high priest. Ve'e, the wife doesn't know how to cook. So, and then, all of a sudden, I wanted to learn how to make Sister Tuitamuki's, famous half-moon pies. And so I wanted to learn, and that weekend, Sister Tuitamuki was at my house, and she said, oh, my daughter Lati said that I need to go visit Bishop Fafiu. And I said, you know what, I was thinking of the same thing. And then when we came to church, my husband said, well, let's go visit him. And in the back of my mind, I said, no, I need to make something to take over there. So Bishop Fafiu will know that. Sister Ve'e knows how to make your pies. So we went home, we did that, and we went and visited him. It was a great visit, and I actually told him, I said, now you can, share. I didn't mean to, I held back by telling him, I knew that that might be our last day to see and visit him. And I said, if you see Brother Tuitamuki, make sure you let him know that, Sister Ve'e is learning how to cook some food back on earth. But, you know, he's that kind of person. He will joke with you like everybody else. In the spiritual side, he has helped us and our kids. When my two girls were both called on mission, my husband had a stroke, and we both sat us down and he said, what do you think? And I said, well, financial-wise, we might not be able to, but we can do it. But he said, Sister Ve'e and Brother Ve'e, if you let your daughter go serve the Lord, you will see the blessings come to your family. I'm not promising you that the blessings of money will be on the trees, or, you know, not right now, not in a couple of years or so, but in the future, you will see that. Brothers and sisters, he's a true servant of God, and I see that blessings within my home. I see the blessings that my children have, their education, their jobs. I see the blessings within my own home. I see the health that my husband has. He's still here. And if you look back, anyone in the Oakland 8th Ward, if you look back, you see all these men has passed on. My husband was the first one that was walking around and could barely walk. And so they're on the other side waiting for him. He said he's not ready, so he's not ready to go yet. But I'm grateful for the examples, and I served under his bishopric. You know, one time he challenged me to, when I was the chairperson for the Scouts, he challenged me to take the Scout biking. And I looked at him, I said, I don't bike, and none of these kids have bikes. And he said, Sister May, we can do it. But then I got released right after that. But brothers and sisters, he is a humble man, and I'm sure Heavenly Father is saying right now, come unto my arms to stay. And I would love my Heavenly Father to say that to me. He's a servant of God, and I'm grateful for Sister Olita. I see her every Sunday, faithful sister, taking care of her family, her husband, her calling, and Bishop Buckfield is number one. I'm grateful for the opportunity that we have to share our testimony with him in the name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen.
I know everybody's looking at me like, oh God, here's another testimony. And I was thinking the same thing too when I was sitting here. You know, I thought I was gonna be probably the last one, and then some other people came, and I was like, oh my God, okay. But it's like, you know, a man so loving and a man so family oriented, how can you limit the time to a time for testimonies? I'm pretty sure there's a lot more people that want to come up and say something, but I'm gonna make it short. My name is Jason. I am his youngest sister's grandson, Tino Meki's son. I just wanted to share one thing with him on behalf of our Fafi family. There was a lot of Auntie Olita's families that came up. There's a lot of the people from the church, but I noticed that there was none of the kids or the grandkids, or that came from the Fafi's family to represent. But there was one thing I wanted to share with my uncle. I am 19 years old. I just turned 19 in January, and I am now at San Jose State University. Back in on June 30th, I had a graduation party. And I remember when we were getting ready for the graduation party, my mom and my grandma and all my family, we were trying to figure out who was gonna be the pastor to lead my graduation party. And at that time, we weren't settled into a church. We were visiting churches, and it was really hard for us to find a pastor. And then knowing Uncle Sa's condition, we didn't know if he was able to come out to lead the celebration. But there was one day where I got the call from my mom, and I was thinking, I didn't want to worry too much about it. But my mom, she called me, and she said that Auntie Olita and Uncle Sa called, and they said that Uncle Sa will be there. And Lord knows how much that meant to me. Because no matter what condition he was in, he always came out to the family meetings. Anything, always. We had family meetings a lot of you may know, might not know, that the day before he passed, we just got finished burying one of his sister's sons, her oldest son. And right after his burial's Monday, Tuesday, I went back to school, and I was like, oh, thank God, Father, love is over. Then they called me, my grandpa called me, and he said Uncle Sal passed away, and I was like, oh, now our family has to go through another one. So, but as soon as my grandpa told me that, I could just hear God. I could just hear the one scripture, Matthew 21, verse 25. Faithful and good servant, you have been, I'm forgetting it already, you're faithful. Enter into the kingdom of God. I'm not in there, you That's what it means. That's all I can remember. That's all I heard when my grandpa told me that Uncle Sa had gone, and I went outside of my dorm and I sat on the bench and I was just staring up to the sky, and I can see Uncle Sa entering into the kingdom with joy and happiness and no more pain, and I can see. If you've seen all his sisters, all the beautiful ladies that were just up here, and if you know some of his other siblings, they all look like twins. I can see my grandma and him. I can see Auntie Lucia, Auntie Benina, Auntie Kenna. They all look alike. And to me, I do everything for my grandma, and all her sisters and brothers are like my grandparents. I do everything for them, anything and everything. I do more for them than I would do for my mom and her siblings. But because it was back-to-back funerals, our family, we didn't have time to get together and prepare a song for him. We always prepare a song for our loved ones that passed away. And when I was in the back eating a donut, one of my aunts, Tracy and Mama, they came up to me and asked me if we could sing the same song that we sang from Uncle Malo's funeral. So if I can please, with all respect to my aunties and uncles and any of my cousins and whoever sang the song at Malo's funeral, if you know it, please come up here so that we can show our love for our Uncle Sa. Anybody that was there.
cousin from Uncle Sa's side. I am the middle daughter of his brother's family. He lost my dad almost 2 years ago. And Uncle Sa reminds me of my dad. They're alike in a lot of ways. Hearing from the stories, my dad was a .01 and a .20, or 1.0 and a 2.0. But he was a Raiders fan, a diehard Raiders fan. My dad was a diehard Niners fan. So when he was sick, I didn't buy him no Raiders stuff because, you know, I'm a Niners fan like my dad. So we came to an agreement that we're both Warriors fans. So I bought him the Warriors blanket. But I just wanted to say that I love you, Auntie Olita, and to my family, my cousins, I love you guys. And Uncle Sa will be missed. He was a great man. Love you guys. Oh, and just one of my daughters. Oh, sorry, no time. Okay, thank you. Love you. And I just wanted to say something about my uncle, just because he was really close to my dad and my family. And I just wanted to say thank you, Auntie Olita and Uncle, for always being there for us ever since I was young, even till now. Even though he was really sick, he always came through for my dad, our family, and I will always remember how strong he was and how he was with all of us. Every time we had our family gatherings, he always made it a point for all of us to stick together as a family and to always put God first and just make your life better. And so I want to thank him for always putting that in us every time we got together. And he always loved when our family got together, because it was just always a good time when we put a lot of things aside and just come together as one. We're always separated and never giving time to each other, and that's what I admire about my aunt and uncle. They always make time for their family, and I advise my family to let's make time for each other and make time to just love on each other and grow as a family and stop being separated. Just come together as one. And I thank you, Uncle, for doing that and always making that happen for all of us. Thank you.
So we're over time, but I really wanted to thank everyone for their remarks and for the musical numbers that were given today and their testimonies. We're going to open it up during the reception after the burial. My family and I would still love to hear, we love to hear stories about our father. So we will open it up at that time. If you would like to sing or say, have any remarks, you can do so at that time as well. In closing, I just want to thank everyone here today on behalf of me and my family. We love you all, and we're grateful for all of the prayers, the texts, the visits, the food, the thoughts, for everything, and for your presence here today. It means so much to all of us. Our closing song will be "A Family Is Forever." We're going to sing only the first verse. And then after that, the benediction will be given by Ben Pablo.